Microsoft faces a crisis they didn't see coming. Windows 11 usage drops to 31% of all Windows installations, down from 35% just 3 months earlier. Microsoft projected 50% adoption by now. They missed by 19 percentage points. But that's not the real story. Here's what Microsoft isn't telling you. Windows 10 support officially ended October 14th, 2025. That means 400 million people are now running unsupported software. 400 million people refusing to upgrade, willing to risk security vulnerabilities rather than switch to Windows 11. This isn't normal resistance to change. This isn't people being stubborn about updates. This is a full-scale revolt against what Windows has become. And when you look at what Microsoft did to force the situation, when you see what they're planning next, the backlash makes complete sense. This isn't just users complaining. This is mainstream rejection of a product built to serve Microsoft instead of users. Windows 11 launched in October 2021. Microsoft called it the biggest Windows update in a decade. A complete redesign. Faster, more secure, better for productivity, built for the future. The marketing was everywhere. New taskbar, rounded corners, integrated teams. This was supposed to be the operating system that defined the 2020s. 4 years later, it's the most despised Windows release since Windows Vista. Maybe worse. Rob Braxman is a programmer who had his software demoed on stage by Bill Gates decades ago. He's been in this industry for 40 years. He said he hasn't seen backlash this bad since the transition from DOS 3.1 to Windows 1.0 in 1985. That was 40 years ago. We're talking about a level of user hatred that hasn't existed in a generation. And it's not just old programmers complaining. Regular users, businesses, IT departments, gamers, content creators, everyone is furious. The R Windows 11 subreddit has become a non-stop stream of complaints. Twitter is filled with people posting their switches to Linux or Mac. YouTube tech channels are making videos titled, "Why I'm Done with Windows." This isn't a vocal minority. This is mainstream rejection. Marcus Webb is a graphic designer in London. Used Windows his entire career. 22 years on the platform. He upgraded to Windows 11 in January 2024 because Microsoft kept nagging him with pop-ups. Within 3 weeks, he bought a MacBook Pro. Spent $2,800. Why? He couldn't stand Windows 11. The constant AI prompts, Copilot interrupting his workflow, ads in the start menu. The operating system felt like it was working against him instead of for him. He took a 20,100 loss just to escape. That's happening everywhere right now. But here's where Microsoft's problems really started. Windows 11 has hardware requirements that instantly made millions of perfectly good computers obsolete. You need a TPM 2.0 chip. That's a trusted platform module, a security chip that stores encryption keys. Sounds reasonable for security. Except Microsoft made it mandatory even though Windows 10 worked fine without it. TPM 2.0 became widely available in computers starting around 2016. Anything built before that can't run Windows 11. Doesn't matter if your computer has 32 GB of RAM and a modern processor. No TPM 2.0, you're out. Microsoft's own data showed that over 50% of Windows 10 devices couldn't meet the requirements. 50%. Half their user base got told their computers were too old, even though those computers worked perfectly fine yesterday. Jennifer Patel runs a small accounting firm in Ohio. 12 employees. They bought new Dell workstations in 2018. Cost $18,000 for the whole office. Those computers are fast. They run everything her business needs. Zero problems, but they don't have TPM 2.0. Microsoft says they can't upgrade to Windows 11. So now she's facing a choice. Spend another $18,000 on new computers that do the exact same work. Or keep running Windows 10 with no security updates. She's furious. The computers aren't broken. Microsoft just decided they're obsolete. And it gets worse. Microsoft also requires UEFI firmware instead of legacy BIOS. They require secure boot enabled. They require specific CPU generations. An Intel 8th gen processor or newer, AMD Ryzen 2000 series or newer. These aren't bad processors. An Intel 7th Gen i7 from 2017 is still a capable chip, but Microsoft says no, not new enough. Buy a new computer. Bill Russo runs an IT consulting firm in Seattle. He told me Microsoft's hardware requirements have nothing to do with security or performance. It's about forcing hardware upgrades. The PC market was stagnant. Nobody needed to buy new computers because their old ones worked fine. Microsoft partnered with Intel, AMD, and PC manufacturers to create artificial obsolescence. Make people buy new hardware whether they need it or not. The requirements are arbitrary. There are workarounds that let Windows 11 run on older hardware perfectly fine. Microsoft just doesn't want you using them. Then there's the Microsoft account requirement. You can't install Windows 11 Home without a Microsoft account anymore. The option to create a local account during setup? Gone. Removed. You must sign in with a Microsoft email and password. You must connect to the internet during installation. There's no offline option. No local account option. Microsoft controls your login to your own computer. During the Windows 7 era and before, you got Microsoft Office for free with the operating system. Didn't have to sign in, didn't have to create accounts, it just worked. Now, Office is a subscription service. $100 per year for Microsoft 365, and it's tied to the same Microsoft account that controls your login. Everything connected, everything tracked, everything monetized. David Chen bought a new laptop in March 2025. Opened it up, started the Windows 11 setup. It demanded a Microsoft account. He didn't want one. He likes local accounts. Keeps things private. No syncing to the cloud. He spent 2 hours searching for workarounds. Found a method using command prompt tricks. Microsoft patched it 3 weeks later. Now there's another workaround. Microsoft will patch that too. It's a cat and mouse game where Microsoft keeps taking away user choice. Rob Braxman tested this. He set up Windows 11 on a test machine. During installation, he tried every possible way to skip the Microsoft account requirement. None of them worked without internet disconnection tricks or command prompt hacks. He said it's deliberate user-hostile design. Microsoft wants your data. They want you locked into their ecosystem. They want you paying for cloud storage on OneDrive. Paying for Microsoft 365. Using Edge browser. Searching with Bing. Everything funneling back to Microsoft services, and it's working. Before we continue, if this information is valuable to you, hit that subscribe button. And drop a comment below telling me if you're still using Windows 10, already switched to Windows 11, or considering moving to Linux or Mac. Your comments help me understand what content matters most to you. Now let's talk about the AI features nobody wanted. Microsoft reported $252 billion in revenue for fiscal year 2025. Over 55% of that came from cloud services. That's $138 billion from the cloud. When your business depends on enterprise clients and online subscriptions, consumer privacy stops mattering. Home users don't drive revenue anymore. They're just data sources to be monetized. Then Microsoft went all in on AI. They invested $13 billion into OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT. That's one of the largest single technology investments Microsoft has ever made. And with that investment, AI started appearing everywhere in Windows 11. Copilot integrated into the operating system. AI features in Word, Excel, Outlook, Paint. Every application got AI whether users wanted it or not. Satya Nadella, Microsoft's CEO, made AI central to the company's strategy. He said at a 2024 event that Windows 11 is becoming an agentic operating system. Agentic, that's the new buzzword for autonomous AI. Your PC will make decisions on your behalf. It'll anticipate what you need. It'll act without you asking. The marketing makes it sound helpful. The reality is terrifying. Copilot watches everything you do. Microsoft calls it recall. The feature takes screenshots of your activity every few seconds, stores them locally with AI analysis, so you can search your history using natural language. Sounds convenient. Security researchers immediately tore it apart. The way Recall stored data wasn't properly protected. Malware with local access could read everything. Your banking details, your passwords, your private messages. every screenshot sitting there unencrypted. The backlash was immediate. Privacy advocates called it spyware. Security experts called it dangerous. Microsoft pulled the feature before launch. It eventually came back as opt-in with encryption and stronger authentication. But even with improvements, people don't trust it. Because once you give software permission to watch everything, how do you know it's really only watching what it claims? Sarah Morrison is a freelance journalist in Toronto. She covers privacy and technology. She told me Copilot and Recall represent a fundamental shift in how operating systems work. Traditional OS design says the computer is a tool. You control it. It does what you tell it. Copilot flips that. Now, the OS is an agent working on behalf of Microsoft. It watches you. It learns from you. It reports data back. You're not the user anymore. You're the product. And Microsoft is selling access to your behavior to advertisers and partners. Here's the truly insane part. Microsoft warned users not to use Copilot in Excel for anything requiring accuracy. Their own warning. Don't trust the AI with spreadsheets because it hallucinates too much. So they built AI into productivity software that they admit doesn't work reliably. But they're forcing it on everyone anyway because they spent $13 billion, not a need to show investors it's being used. Users are paying the price for Microsoft's investment decisions. Not getting better software. Getting surveillance and unreliable AI they never asked for. Section 6. The subscription future. The 16 now was my one scoring. Now, here's what's coming. Microsoft isn't backing down. They're going harder. Copilot is expanding. Recall is coming back despite the backlash. They're planning deeper AI integration in Windows 12 whenever that launches. They're exploring subscription models for Windows itself. Pay monthly for your operating system? That's where this is headed. Internal documents leaked to The Verge showed Microsoft testing Windows subscription tiers. Basic tier with ads and limited features. Premium tier without ads and full functionality. This isn't speculation. They're actively testing it. And given everything they've done with Windows 11, does anyone think they won't implement it eventually? Your operating system could become a monthly payment. Stop paying? Windows stops working or drops to a limited ad-supported version. That's the future Microsoft is building. Software as a service taken to its logical extreme. You won't own anything. You'll rent everything forever. And they're betting people will accept it because what choice do you have? Most users don't know about Linux, can't afford Macs. They'll complain online, then they'll pay the subscription. Microsoft knows this. They're counting on it. The bottom line. November 2025. Windows 11 sits at 31% adoption, dropped from 35% 3 months ago. 400 million people running unsupported Windows 10. This isn't a normal product launch. This is rejection at scale. Microsoft thought they could force AI, force accounts, force subscriptions, force ads, force data collection, and users would just accept it. They were wrong. People are leaving. Switching to Linux, buying Macs, staying on Windows 10 despite security risks. The revolt is real. The question is whether Microsoft will respond by listening to users or by tightening control further. Every indication suggests they'll tighten control, because Windows 11 isn't designed for users. It's designed for Microsoft's business model. You're not the customer. You're the resource being extracted. Your data, your attention, your subscription payments. That's the product. And the truly sad part, Windows used to be the best operating system on the planet. It made personal computing accessible. It powered businesses. It enabled creators. It was a tool that served users. Windows 11 is a service that serves Microsoft. And that's why people are done with it. If this opened your eyes to what's really happening with Windows, share it. Because Microsoft isn't going to tell you this. Tech media won't fully cover it because Microsoft advertises with them. But users deserve to know what they're really getting. A surveillance platform with ads, mandatory AI, and forced cloud integration. That's Windows 11. And it's only going to get worse from here. Subscribe if you want to see what happens when Microsoft launches Windows 12 with subscription tiers. Because that's coming. And when it does, the backlash to Windows 11 will look like nothing. The revolt is just beginning.